So damage wise, we knew it was coming in with damage. Down here, wheel trim's a little scuffed, but nice original wheel trim, so we can clean them up. This door's fine. This door's all good until we get down to here where we've got a dent in the skin there, but I can pull that and fill that. But then the damage is here on the sill. Right, you all pointed this out to me in the last video. I was being a blithering idiot. I was hitting the aircon button going, it's not working, but obviously I need the fan on for the aircon to work, so a little feel. Ooh, nice and cold. So it's just the, I need to sort out the, oh no, that's working as well actually. I don't know what I did before that made it not work. So there you go, self-fixing. Do things properly and you don't have a problem. There's a slight hesitation that maybe I need to pop it out and... Oh, it's working. Anyway, yeah, self-fixing Citroen C1. So let's get it in and see if we can adjust the clutch and improve the position of the clutch before we start on that bodywork. So the Corsa of the C1 is as we expected. The pads are literally down to nothing and the disc is very ridged and horrible, so new discs and pads on the front. That's both sides on, but I've noticed the tyres are pretty much at their use by, so I've just gone over and got a price for 2 tyres. We'll do both front tyres and then it can go in for its MOT. On the case on the i20 while I'm faffing around with that C1, we've got the gearbox out. Well, I say we, Pete's got the gearbox out, it helped for the last 30 seconds. Look, we've got the same thing on this one, look. All those fingers are properly eaten into, massive ridge on them. Something's really eaten into those. It's all chewed up on the edges. So that's why we had that funny springy feeling in the gearbox, no doubt. Don't know what the clutch release bearing's like. What's that, Pete, is it? Oh yeah, he doesn't sound good. He doesn't sound nice, the clutch release bearing either. The i20 is actually really good. It's got loads of meat on it, but obviously we do things proper, so we're going to stick a new clutch in anyway. We're not going to save any real money or time by not putting one in. It'll be a good selling point for the car. So we're not sure about those fingers. Looking at it again, whether that was manufacturing because it was even all the way out. What Pete did find is that the bushing that has the arm come through the gearbox had popped back and was very loose. So it popped out of its housings. Basically we've drifted the bushing back in again, tightened it all up, and now we've got no slop in that movement. There was quite a lot of slop in there, so whether the fingers on that pressure plate were bad or not, I don't know 100% because the new pressure plate's slightly different, but we definitely had some slop in this here. But so yeah, we got a new release bearing in, I'm going to put a new clutch in, so it's going to get a new clutch anyway, and we definitely have tightened up the linkage to the gearbox. So make a cracking car for someone. I like to say that a lot too, don't I? But no, it genuinely will. I mean, 2010 with a new clutch in it, 1995, and these things are pretty much bulletproof. These little 1.2 Hyundais, they're pretty bulletproof. Lee from Barham Engineering has just come over, saying his daughter's passed the test and looking for her first car. And I said, look, it might not be the coolest thing in the world. I know we've got the Igos and the C1 VTRs and stuff out there she could choose, but if I was putting my daughter Brooke in a car now, I'd be pushing hard for her to get into this, to be fair. It's a lot of car around them. It's ultra reliable, really solid, nice spec. So yeah, anyway, I'll help Pete get that back in again. He's done all this in less than half a day. This will be back in the car. So done crack a bit. So Pete's done a job. i20 clutch is all back together. I gave him a little bit of a hand to sort of speed things up. But it's only taken half a day. And yeah, cured that problem completely. Clutch feels absolutely fine. It may well have just been the bushing on that arm, but at the end of the day we could see that the release bearing was duff. The clutch plate itself was okay, but that release bearing was not good, and we had it all out anyway, so might as well do it. So yeah, so it's going out the door with a long MOT with a new clutch on it, fresh service, and although it's got a few little dings still on it, I didn't get completely out everything. I did the rear bumper, didn't I? Overall it's still a really nice little car, and as we know with the Hyundais as a general, I don't see them back again. They're good, reliable little cars, so for under £2,000 it's going to be a great buy for someone. So we use the stripping pads here on the angle grinder, take all the paint off the areas that we're going to attach the welder pulling tabs to. You want to get them super clean, makes life a lot easier. And then obviously we're going to be putting filler here as well, and it's nicer to put the filler onto the bare metal as well. So just about ready to put all the tabs on now and start pulling away. So the setup we have is the puller attached to the two-poster, and then we have these tabs that weld on. Slide the bar through them, touch this end of the puller on, and then gradually pull it out. So I'll video me doing a few of them. I'll crack on and get this out as quick as we can. Right, you saw us pull that little bit there, but what we've done now is set up all the tabs for the entire area we're going to pull, so we can work our way back and forth, because as this pulls out further, this might want another tweak again. So it's all set up ready to go. Now obviously the alternative of this for a lot of people would have been to slap it with a load of filler and reshape it and not pull the metal out at all, which I guess if it's your own car isn't too much of a problem, but obviously we want to do it the proper way, so we're going to pull this all back out to shape, and it's only going to end up with a very thin skim of filler. So I've done about as much tab pulling as I'm going to do. Not absolutely perfect, but obviously we brought it right back out, and we now have, remember we had no panel gap underneath the door? You can see there's a nice even gap there now. There was no panel gap at all, was it? The sill was touching the door. The ones up here, they weren't very tight, so I used the slide hammer attachment on the welder, that one there, to pop those out. They took next to nothing to pop out. This section here, it kind of curves back in itself. That's the natural position for the car. That needs dapping down a little bit, but if you have a look on the other side, it's got like a little bit of a tick there, just there, so that needs to stay. I just need to knock that down a little bit, and then like I say, we'll put a skim of filler over it, so there will be some filler on it, but just not a lot. I could have welded a panel in, but I didn't have the panel and I wanted to get it done today, and it's all popped out okay. So again, it won't be absolutely perfect. I think it's running a little bit high along here. I think that's potentially supposed to be a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, guys, this is going to be like a £2.5 grand car, and you've got to bear that in mind when we start talking about getting absolute perfection. Obviously if we're talking about a 10 grand car, it'd be a different situation, but we can't afford to spend that kind of time on the car. We need to be no more than a day and a half in this, like I say, because I'm having the tyres put on now. It's going to have the front tyres, it's going to have the discs and pads, so that's 100 quid in discs and pads, sorry, 50 quid in discs and pads, and about 80 quid in tyres, so we're up to sort of like 120 odd quid on that. Then we've got paint, so let's say 40 quid in total for paint. So where am I? What, 160? I'm getting lost as where I am. I've got an MOT, so £210 plus a service, 240 pounds, plus if it needs anything else for the MOT. So yeah, we have to bear these things in mind, guys, when we talk about how much it's worth doing and how quickly we can get it done. Right, anyway, let's get cracking. I'm going to grind that down a little bit with the sander and just tidy it all up, and then get to putting some paint on it. So we had a couple of dents in the front wing. They're only light. I've managed to pull them out with my hand, and that's actually acceptable now. I've prepped this ready for paint, that rear corner where it was scuffed. And over here on the sill, I've done our first couple of layers of filler. I've got a bit more to do. Final skim over the top. Here, it's okay. I've lost the line here, it's slightly recessed. There's a slight recess just here that needs to carry along there. I've lost that a little bit because where it was hit in, even after pulling it, it's still sitting a little bit proud there. So I've just kind of like smoothed it in, blended it in, so it kind of takes it across and then evens that out. There's a little bit more sanding perhaps I can do there, sort that out. Again, I've got to bear in mind the value of this car. I can't be spending an entire day getting that little lip perfect when 99% of people aren't going to notice. So just got to flatten off this bit on our door here and then should be ready to get some primer on. Excuse the flickering, we moved into the spray booth because we've got a lot of customers' cars outside in the workshop, and we've got enough covers to cover them up for me to paint out there, and we could get a car out of the spray booth, so we've moved in here. So excuse the flickering a bit. I'll try and cut that out in a second. So yeah, we've started to get an idea of what the shape's like now. I think I've nailed this little tick up here into the bodywork there. That looks all right, but we're not really noticed we've got shiny paint on. But again, I'm not expecting it to be perfect, like I said, but it's certainly going to be a damn sight better than the great big dents everywhere. So anyway, we've got some etch primer because we had some bare metal there, so we're going to do some filler primer after this, and then we'll start getting colour on. So we've got the high build on now. We'll do a couple more coats of high build, I think, just to make sure we cover any pinholes in the filler. Sorry about that. Oh, I've changed the settings, doesn't seem to make a lot of difference, so comment down below if you know what I need to do to change settings on this. But yeah, so we'll let this go off 10 minutes and then we'll do another 2 coats of this before we look to then see whether we need to sand back again or not, and then start to put some colour on. Time to get the colour on, so let's get started. Right, we've got the first coat of colour on. We'll leave that for 10 minutes and then come back and see where we are with it. In terms of colour match, difficult to say because obviously I've keyed up everything, so sorry about the flashing, guys. I will sort that out. We've been doing this corner as well, but I'll try to go away and sort out the settings on this and then come back and show you. Solution, I've moved to my phone. I can't find out what it is on my GoPro, so unfortunately I'm going to record much, but so here's the corner that had the scratching on. You can see it's a bit uneven here. This is where the fade out thinner is, because I didn't want to go right out to the edge of the panel. So this will all be polished back later on. Where I'm actually leaving the paint, I think the finish is going to be okay. I think a quick buzz over with the polisher will be right. So we've got rid of the scuffs on the corner there. This side, we've obviously sprayed all the way along the sill, blended it in down there, and then we've taken the paint up here and put fade out thinner across here, put fade out thinner there again, trying not to go panel to panel too much. We will be panel to panel at the edge of the door here. That's pretty unavoidable. So we'll have to see how that looks and whether I need to go into that panel. I did get an extra can just in case I need to go into that panel. But again, yeah, I need to make sure I don't go too crazy because the value of this car isn't huge. Again, the finish on this side is probably, I'd say, if I get up close, it's going to need a buff. I didn't warm the paint today, so that might be part of it. This is where the fade out thinner is, where you're seeing that. This is where the actual the paint is. So again, we'll buzz it over with a polisher tomorrow when it's hardened. But I'm going to go home now. Again, as I always say, just leave it well enough alone, guys. You don't want to start trying to fiddle with it now. If there's anything problems, then you sort them out later on. I was a bit worried about this arch here. I wasn't sure how well I got that, but it actually looks all right. I'm totally flat on this surface and I'm curved on this surface. That tick is looking good. I'm happy with that. If we go over the other side and have a look, where is it? Underneath here. You can see the tick there. This is all going to need a polish up to be the same kind of red. You see the kind of tick sort of shape there. Now obviously I did pull the sill back out again, but something compound like that is hard to get. Now mine's not exactly the same because I lost some of the edge along here, but I have kind of got the tick there. And I've got no problem telling someone I did a repair to the sill on this car before it goes out. You know me, truth happy telling the truth. You can see with the line, see with the shadow here, the line has gone slightly wavy along there, where again, where this was pushed up slightly and I couldn't get that factory line in across there. But again, in my mind, a lot of people would have globbed filler over that and just fillered the whole thing. We've got a very minimal amount of filler in there now. You saw before I started putting primer and stuff on that, you could see metal in lots of areas there, showing how sort of thin it was. And again, for this car, it's going to be 2.5 grand. I think it's probably going to be about 2.5 grand, maybe 2,795. I think, I painted the wheels black again as normal. Stone chipped them up, and I've got the wheel trims off to paint those up. The whole car will get a machine polish. It's going to have the new MOT on it. It's got the new discs and pads on it. It's going to have the new front tyres on it. It's going to have an interior valet on it. It'll have the service. Did I just say that or not? So I think that, again, people pick me up on my prices. You'll be able to get cheaper ones elsewhere, but they'll be exactly that. They'll be cheaper for a reason. People aren't doing this level of prep, trying to get every little ding and dent out of it, and trying to make it as good as possible. I've probably spent far too much time on this now. I'm getting on 2 days in it now, which I didn't want to be, and I've still got some bits and bobs to do. But we'll see in the morning how this looks once it's flat and polished back. Again, no point panicking about anything at the moment. We'll see what it looks like once we bung the polisher over it. Sorry about that earlier stuff with the flickering. I'm sure I've got that setting right before on my GoPro without it being a problem, but this paint booth really didn't like that at all. So following morning, so we're in this morning and we're going to get the polisher on the go. So we've got 360 Superfast Compound, which is like a 3000 grit from Farcella, and we've got a polisher here, forget what make that is, with a compound pad on it. Now I think after running over it with this, I'm going to have sort of just a factory level of orange peel. If not, I'll go over and to put 2000 grit sandpaper over it first. So this is where all the fade out thinner is, so we're going to give that a blast and see how it looks once we run the polisher over it. Now we've got too much peel in it after that, so I'm going to give it a going over with some 1500 grit sandpaper and then some 1200 grit, then 1500 grit, and then we'll get the compounder back on again and see how we're looking then. It's okay here where I laid the paint heavy, it's here where I tried to blend out a bit, and because the paint wasn't particularly thin I probably should have warmed it up. It's a bit more grainy there, so we'll give it a blast over with the sander first. You can see after our first pass with 1200, while we've got an even surface, basically it's knocked the top off, and you can see we've still got a lot of low spots here. So we're going with 1500 now. One little tip is I've burnt through too many edges in my time, so I always put a bit of masking tape on the edges. You could even put one potentially over here, because these are the spots you got to be careful you don't burn through. I'll be trying to stay off this edge as much as possible. If I do hit this, I want to go very flat onto there, but this will stop you burning through your edges. You can always polish the edge of it by hand later on. So same thing the other side, flatten it down with 1200 and 1500 grit sandpaper. Now we'll go over with the 3000 compound and then buff it off and see what we end up with. There we have it, guys. I haven't finished completely machine polishing it, but there we go. So sort of, obviously we've got the bright lights on it, so it's going to show worst case, but that's how it's looking now. Is it perfect? No. I've got a little bit where I think I've kind of, where is it? Just here. I don't know if you can see it at all. Probably, to be honest, if I'm going this far, I'm to look for it. I should probably just leave it well enough alone, shouldn't I? Again, price of the car, all this, that and the other. So yeah, I think it's time to leave it alone. I'll give it one more quick buff over, get rid of some of the lighter sanding marks. I'm going to leave the sill as it is. It's low down, it doesn't need machine polishing. So let's get round the other side and sort the other side out, and then we'll machine polish the whole rest of the car. And there we go, guys. Again, we've got a good finish there through that flattening and polishing process. Again, if you get very close, you can you might be able to just see the blend line there. So I haven't managed to achieve my invisible blend lines, but you do have to get very close and be looking for them to find them. And And again, £2.5 car on it, so let's be realistic. You know, from here, it's all good. Fortunately, I didn't get away with the old lacquer peel. I thought this was the only C1 I was going to have with no lacquer peel. As I pulled the masking tape off, it pulled a bit of the old lacquer out there, so I'm going to have to do a little smart repair there. Just touching with a little bit of lacquer, because it's a shame, because now, obviously with the rest of the work done, that's the only actual bit of body work on it. So yeah, a bit of a shame that. But I'll touch it in a bit later, but yeah, now unmask the whole lot, buff the whole car off. So the little Hyundai i10's due pick up today, giving the interior a little spruce over. It's a £1,500 car, but then I know the lady hasn't seen it yet. The bloke bought it for his mum, and I want it to be super clean when she gets here. Trying something a little bit different today. Moonshine have provided me with some Caliber interior detailer to give a go. Tom let me have some of this when I went to the oh, what's it called now? I forget the show now. Went down to Exeter the other day. I'll remember in a minute. But yeah, giving this a go on the plastics. It's basically you can spray on. You can spray it straight on, or you put it on a cloth, obviously, if you want to avoid the window and all that. And then just give it a little wipe over with a microfiber. And what I have to say, what I like about this is the smell. It smells like coconut. I don't think it says anything on the bottle about it smelling like coconut, does it? No, it doesn't seem to say anything there. Maybe I don't know if they intended it to or not, but it actually smells like coconut. It's a really nice smell. It leaves a nice smell in the cabin, and it gives a nice matte shine. Not too much shine, just about the right level. So again, with I'll be using their exterior quick detailer on the bodywork, and yeah, again, like I say, I don't get paid. They just send me some of the stuff every now and then to get my honest opinion on. Again, comes in a glass bottle, so it's all recyclable. Yeah, you know, I like it. Like I say, I particularly like that smell. I think the wife's going to like that smell when I put it in a 500X. She loves their air freshener that smells of rhubarb and was it rhubarb and custard, I think. She loves that one, a little wooden one that you can refresh with fresh oil. So yeah, big shout out to them again, thanks for that, and another good product from those guys. Remember, they give a massive 25% discount code, sorry, for their products. If you use Chops Garage, all one word, in the checkout, you get 25% off their products. So and they're local to me, so I like to give them a bit of support. There she is, all cleaned, ready to go. I do wonder sometimes if anybody really gives a monkeys that I give them these extra cleans or not. You know, some of the cars have come in and sold as they are straight away without me doing any of this at this price point, £1,500, under £2,000 price point. I mean, I just discovered that in the spare wheel well on this, I missed it the first time. It had a load of sand in it, so I don't know whether they missed that themselves or whether they just didn't care. So yeah, I'm never entirely sure whether the extra effort's worth it or not, but I guess it's just a point of pride, isn't it? It's going out looking the best it can for a £1,500 2008 i10. They are great little sellers, these little i10s. Again, I've said it so many times, top flips. There's another reason I need my own place, guys. Look at this, look at I cleaned that 2 days ago. It's all the stuff from the recyclers over there, just blows over here and just absolutely covers the cars. Just constantly cleaning them. You want to just finish machine polishing the C1. I was in a hurry to do it because the customer wanted to pick up the i10 at 2 o'clock. So the C1's all machine polished. Looks really good. Obviously I've not cleaned the glass yet. I've not done all the wheels. I just want to machine polish the body. I don't want to use any silicons in the spray booth, but I'm pleased with that. She's looking proper shiny. Anyway, got it done just in time for the people picking up the i10, which obviously I had to valet this morning before I did the C1. I had to valet the i10 and get that ready. And then a really good customer already had 2 cars off us and sent 2 or 3 other people to us, brought another person to us who's just bought the i20, let them have it for $19.95 with the new clutch in it. They want to take it away straight away, and they said, we'll take it as it is. I said, no, it needs an oil change. I said, and I can't let you take it away dirty. It's the girl's first car. You know, she's got to have at least some tyre shine on it. So I've sent them away to go and have some coffee and a bite to eat, and I'm going to quickly get the service done, and I'm going to give it a quick detailer and put some shine on the tyres and stuff, because inside's clean. Make it tidy for us. That one's gone out the door as well. Whew. As you can hear, I've been running around chasing my tail like a blue-ass fly today. Stock's getting very thin. As you can see, I have huge space, and all I've got left is the Demon Dacia number 2 and the little Toyota Aygo. It should probably be $19.95, but we've got up at $21.95 still at the moment. I've got the Fabia coming in and the 500 coming in. Have I just given the game away? I don't think I've recorded yet that I've bought those 2. But anyway, this is the one that I painted the rear bumper on, and wasn't I, to tidy it up and put the new clutch in it. But let's crack on so we don't hold these people up. Right, so that's it. Lady's driven off on the i20. What a mental day. I am going to go home and have a beer. I can't even bother to go out to the pub, to be fair. I'm just going to go home, have a bath, and then have a beer after I've tidied up the bit of mess I've made doing that service. Oh, that was busy, wasn't it? Those little Hyundais, I do like them. I think I might just become a Hyundai specialist. Hyundai Kia specialist, I think. Might be the way forward. But numbers wise, I haven't done numbers jot up with you. Comment below if you want me to do a numbers jot up with you. I haven't done it for a while on all the stuff I've sold recently. I mean, just plucking the numbers out of the air, I think the little black Hyundai made me £500, and I think that little grey one's made me £500. I did want to make nearer £700 out of the grey one after putting the clutch in it, but at the end of the day, if I'm making £500 and it's out the door, and I can turn over another space in this month, I should do it. Plus that lady, like I say, she's been brilliant. She's had 2 cars off me, plus she's probably recommended another 3 people have come to me via her before as well. She's a bit of a star, so she deserved a bit of a deal for her friend. So yeah. And what was the other one I sold? The Corsa. The Corsa, the numbers on the Corsa are horrible. I think I made a couple £100 on the Corsa after all that effort. So yeah, the little black i10 was probably the one that was the quickest. I didn't do anything other than put a clutch cable on it and give it a clean, that one. And so that was probably for £500 for less than a day's work. Isn't bad going. Obviously I've got to give Stu his cut on those numbers. So yeah, about £1,200 between the 3 cars this week. Am I counting the i10 this week? I think it sold at the weekend. I'm getting a bit lost now and stuff. Did I sell anything else? I've got to go and jot up my numbers, guys, and I'm getting a bit lost as where I am. This month so far, yeah, well, comment down below. Do you want me to do a run up on? I can either do a run up on last month or do a run up on this month so far, or do a run up on all of them. I could just do a video going through maybe the last 10 sales and tell you how the profits were on those. Like I say, the C1 is in the booth all polished up. I didn't quite get that finished today because of how much I had going on. I've got the wheel trims here and doing my old wheel trim refurb again, using my MGB as a table. I've got to finish off those. I need another quick sand before I put the... Do they need another quick sand? I think they need another quick sand before I put a coat of silver and a coat of lacquer on those. Then I've got to do an interior clean on the C1 and then get it over for its tyres and its MOT. I'm hoping that the MOT doesn't need any more than that, because I'm going to put tyres and the discs and pads on it, so I'm hoping it's not going to need much more than that. And then that'll be a really smart car. Again, I'm not going to make a fortune on it. Probably another £600, £700, depending on how much I end up getting for it. But it's going to be a super nice one for someone. It's going to probably be, you know, I reckon it's going to be one of the cleanest 11 plate ones kicking about. It runs really well on that. That one's a really, really nice little runner. So, yeah, so that should be a good lot. But at the end of the day, if I can turn cars over £2,000 cars, £2,500 cars at £500 a pop profit, and I can, you know, get through a volume of them, it's not the end of the world. There'll be a few here and there that make me £1,000. There'll be a few that make me less. But if I can get the turnover going right, That's why I need that new premises. I want a new premises so I can have 20 cars on the go at any given time, because at the moment I'm out of stock, and it's not because I couldn't have bought more, it's because I couldn't have stored more. So even though I've sold them, I've got no more room to put cars out there, so I have to wait till they go before I can buy them, and then there's a delay in prep. Whereas if I had some more already waiting ready to go now, I could be prepping those and have put them straight into those slots as soon as they're gone. But anyway, shut up, tidy up, go home, get a beer. See you later. So Adrian and I, A&K Van Services, don't forget it, get on that Facebook page, are on our way up to Bridgewater to pick up 2 motors, and I hope to God that they both work, because this rain is horrendous. I'm going to be getting very wet, especially as I've bought a coat. I'm going to be getting very wet if one of these cars isn't reliable enough to drive me all the way back to Barnstable. As you can see, I'm not sure what order the videos are coming out in at the moment where I am, but we've got a very empty forecourt, so these 2 cars ideally need to be quick turnarounds. I haven't got time to be in loads of bodywork on them. I need stuff up for sale now, so we'll get out to Bridgewater and we'll see what we ended up with.